Hello, this is Robert Stevenson, and here is another video about a map I've created in the Island Creator for the Worlds Adrift game. This is quite a big one. If you watched my last video, you'll know that I went back to work recently, so I've had a lot less time to do this. So this has taken me over a month, not in constant time obviously, but nicking little bits of time here and there, and I've also had a holiday in that time and that sort of thing, but now it's done and I'm quite happy with it. This is by far the biggest thing I've made, and it should be very interesting, I think. So top bit here, we've got a nice big tower, a little bit like the monolith map. You know, pretty standard looking island, except that there are these kind of large struts coming down which kind of link up over there that you might have noticed, and I think I'll spawn myself in and we'll take a look at what's going on below. So take a look at this. And now I'm just falling to my death. There we are. What we have here is possibly the biggest city anyone has made in this. Trust me, this has taken a very, very long time. My other maps probably took about 20-ish hours, maybe a bit more to create. This has taken at least double that, easily. Yeah, it's just really, really big. I've got the clouds on at the moment, so it's not running at super speed, but we'll see. It should be good. It'll be a nice background for it. Yeah, so this is what I've been quietly working on for quite a long time. There are many levels to it. There are a ton of secrets in it. I'll zoom back out again. The idea is that they have, like, the island was not big enough for the civilization that was living on here, so they basically demolished their city, or the habitation they had at the time, and built this superstructure to be able to build off of it, to build other buildings off of it, basically, so that they could continue to build indefinitely. And yeah, you can see the huge strut in the middle that kind of attaches to the tower at the top, and those attach out to the kind of the main, the biggest buildings out to the side. So when I came to making this, I built the kind of superstructure first and then just kept building off it more and more and more until it was like this, basically. Trust me, this would not be possible. Well, I say wouldn't be possible. It would be just horrendous if the new patch hadn't come out and introduced copy paste and that sort of thing. Because my God, the amount of like items in this is just insane. Because rather than there being a few high detailed items, there are a few high detailed items. You've got on the wrong thing. You've got things like this. This is what, 16,000 what is it, vertexes or whatever they're called, I can't remember. Yeah, 16,000, like 16,000 polys or whatever. And there's a few other things like these big buildings. They are quite a few polys as well, but other than that, it's all like gangways and like copy paste small walls and staircases and all of this sort of thing, like lots of blocks, and they really don't take up much in terms of the complexity. So I was able to build so much in this space, like so much more than if I had, you know, built most of it out of these big buildings and so on. And it also allowed me to use to have my own building style on various things. I mean, the way the doors are made and so on are the way the objects we were given have been designed, but you can do all sorts of things like these. This is a staircase just made into a roof, along with all the support structure for it as well. So it looks genuine, it looks, you know, like it belongs. And then you've got other buildings where there's, you know, runoffs and like different kinds of roofs, different kinds of kind of little pagodas and like walkways and all, just loads and loads of like little design things that kind of add up to make this rather large city. I've got the time passing at the moment. It looks quite good at certain times of day. Oh, there's unfortunately there's a literal black mark against this map at the moment in that the shaders on some of these bushes aren't working, but I've already talked to the devs and apparently that will sort out by itself with the next patch, so I'm going to leave it in and hope that that kind of that happens and that gets sorted out. So I'm just going to leave that for now and hopefully it'll be fine. The number of things in this map is kind of crazy. You've got the big buildings around the side. You've got kind of the big manor houses, the kind of luxurious places. These all have things in them. They're not empty. They don't have a lot in them most of the time, but they do have things in them. So this is kind of a little like just bits broken down, and then there's this kind of secret head in here that has disappeared. Oh my, okay, that bug's still not fixed then. Okay, so there's meant to be a head in there. Okay, fine. That's news to me. I didn't realise that had disappeared. So that's no longer got a head in it. So we've got these big manor houses. I'm going to change the time of day. Back up again, because it looks nice at different times. And they're kind of dotted throughout to kind of give the idea of these big structures that everything else kind of connects to and builds off of. So you know, these posh houses, they were built first for the richest people that moved here, and then all of the gangways and the walkways and all of this sort of thing kind of built around it, and the city kind of flourished from there. So you've got the noble houses, you have the big superstructure that keeps it all together and the huge tower, along with the arms which are part of the superstructure that keep it all together. You've then got, beyond those houses, you've got the slum areas. So there's a couple of areas in this which are for kind of the serfs, the kind of the undercity of this undercity, where the workers live, the guys that don't have as much money but, you know, need to be there so that the city runs. You have all these houses, so there's something in all of them. So there's one with a cave, what are we talking about? Cage. There's one with a cage. Is one of the bigger ones where you've got some beds and some shelving and like a thing, I don't know, just stuff, load of stuff. And then another one where there's like showers or something. That's about as close as I can get to making showers. And this place isn't as well kept either. So you've got these like plants have started growing through. Well, weeds have started popping up, and the ground's falling apart. Well, the buildings are falling apart and so on. So there's a broken down shrine. There's also a way down onto the parts of the superstructure from here where they might do maintenance, that sort of thing. I'm trying to think of the sort of jobs they might be doing. Mainly it would be masonry, I think. I have a feeling there'd be a lot of masonry going on in this. Oh, what the heck just happened to my frame rate? Okay, it's fine again. Not sure what that was. So there's a little residential room, like bedroom and stuff. So the back of these buildings, everything's meant to be quite cramped in with the slums because they don't have much money, they don't have much room. They're still fine houses. They're quite spacious, but they're not. They're not for the richer of the people here. And then this one's just fallen apart entirely. So we have those areas, and I say areas because there's another one of those. There's a second slum area which is over here. So I'll quickly just kind of pop around. So some of the roofs have collapsed. There's one in here which was used for growing plants and stuff, just on that. It's quite important to note that because there's not much land down here, there's lots and lots of plant pots, because that's the only way they can grow things. So there's lots of plant pots around for either decoration or for growing crops and things. There's this little back alley that leads into another one of the houses, which has more housing for people. There is, what's we got in here? I think this is another housing room. Yeah, there's more beds. There's a little oh no, this isn't the shrine. This is something completely different, but this is here too. There's got to be entertainment in this sort of place, so that's what that's for. And it, you know, shows the difference between the kind of upper city thing. I imagine actually you probably get quite a few of the upper city guests coming down here. Here's a place of repentance, I guess, if you just visited the business over there. Another shower room. And what's in here? I think it's just a cage. Yeah, just another cage. Either way, yeah, that's kind of the slummy areas. So then we have the Watchtowers. So these are built mainly on the kind of slum areas. You see that the slums have been built over because they want to be, like, the city designers want them to be hidden, so they're kind of pushed to the skirt of the city and underneath other walkways and stuff. So there's this nice house here which has a kind of a plinth with a sword in it, and it's quite nice. They've added these special effect things. There's a little bit of dust falling down to make it a bit more magical or whatever, you know, something like that. But then there's the Watchtowers. I'm quite I'm back in here. I'm quite happy with these structures. I'm really happy with the way the roofs work. And these are also built on top of the slums because, well, they're the people that are going to cause the trouble, or perceived cause trouble for the rest of the city. So if there's an uprising, I was thinking upbringing. If there's an upbringing, no, an uprising, then the soldiers are in the right place. There's a big tower there. There's a smaller tower here that kind of, it's kind of the linking room from one part of the city to another, so there needs to be a guard tower because you can't have all the serfs just piling through. Got a nice gatehouse there for it, and then there's another one over here, so it's another gatehouse you can walk through. Then there's the kind of the large tower shrine thing. It's kind of modelled on the tower above, and it's more of a status symbol. It's not really it's not practical or anything. I don't think it's even... You could consider it a shrine to the gods again, something like that. You know, just this big kind of grand structure to show off the wealth of the city. Okay, so that's watchtowers and that sort of thing. Then there's this cage area, which could have housed, I don't know, all sorts of things. Either unruly citizens, or maybe creatures, you know, cattle, that sort of thing, although there's no grass in there. All the hay's, you know, rotted away over the years that the place has been abandoned. Or maybe it's for creatures from further off lands, or dangerous creatures and that sort of thing. I'll move the timeline on a little bit. There's a point actually in the day where the world looks kind of naff. There's this kind of greenish haze to everything and looks kind of like poisonous clouds everywhere. So I'm just going to move the time on slightly. So there's that cagey area down there. There's this thing, another statue. I combined a few statues and a statue and a load of the metal parts and came up with this thing. You can kind of make a mech with it actually, but I only went this far. You could, if you attach a couple of the other bits to it, it looks like it's got legs and so on, so you can make this big Power Rangers-esque mech thing, but rusted to hell. Then there's this little marketplace area. All the store. You have to imagine that all of the wood and everything has just rotted away. So anywhere there was wood is now gone. So actually, this sort of bit should really be wood. But there is no wood in the game, so it's stone. Everything is masoned. So yeah, there's a little market area, and this links two of these 2 of these pathways. Some of it's kind of broken up, some of the pathways have kind of collapsed a bit over the years. Then what else is there? We have this building down here. So this is kind of an engineering building, like kind of a maintenance thing. So it's linked to the higher part of the city, but it's lower down because it's, you know, it's like an engineering part. It's kind of bowels of the city. So it's got the bed for the engineer here, and he's got his plant pots, and he's got all of his like the machines and stuff he has to maintain, which haven't been maintained because everybody left or died or something. I don't know. You'll have to ask the devs for what the story of why there's nobody here is. And then it's just a matter of just walking into buildings now, because there, like I said, there's something in everything. There's these I say elevator, they're not elevator buildings, these kind of buildings that used to link the lower city with the upper city. So they would be elevators if, you know, they had working lifts, but you can imagine there was a kind of a wooden staircase that went all the way down it, and now you can kind of jump down there and zoom back up. Oh, there's a nice view. So then we have, if we go into another one of these buildings, I can show off some of the other bits. I'm not going to go into every single one. Oh, we just jumped clean off. That was clever. I'm not going to go to every building because I want people to go and wander around. There are a few really interesting things in some of these. There is a doll's house for you to find. I say a doll's house, it's like a small mini city in one of the buildings. I've also put my signature on the walls of one of the buildings in this place, so you should go and find that too. There is also I don't know what to call it. It's like the magical brick of destiny or something. I don't know. Just some. There's a brick that doesn't belong in this place, and it's been put on a plinth because it's part of a different civilization. It's from civilization. Oh no, sorry, culture A, not Saborian. So therefore it's rare or something, and I decided to make that into a feature. So there's a brick somewhere for you to find. There's also, actually I'll go into this building. There's a couple of places where there are some kind of dubious practices going on. So in the lofts of a couple of these buildings there are some, well, this one has mushrooms growing in it. So someone's cultivating mushrooms, and there's somewhere else where something else is being cultivated as well. Just trying to come up with all sorts of different things that would be interesting, that civilization would have in it, which kind of enriches the world as you wander around. So you just come into this one, there's another kind of altar, there's a ceiling which has collapsed, and another kind of like back garden, but because you can't have, but because this city was built in the way that it was, they can't actually get grass down here, so it's a kind of little courtyard with some flowers in it. And then there's a bedroom up here, and I made a bookcase. Isn't it pretty? I made a nice bookcase with a bed, and there's a lamp. Do you like the lamp? The lamp. Isn't it nice? Yes. And ladders and that sort of thing. So yeah, just loads and loads of stuff. If you want to run around this place, you will not be disappointed. There is a lot to see. Now, okay, so on to other stuff. Just while I wander around, I want to thank the devs a ton for allowing us to copy-paste. One thing that I would like to complain about is that the mouse control is now worse than it was. I'm not sure what happened, but there is some form of mouse acceleration going on, which I'm not happy about. So it used to be that wherever you put your pointer, that's where you looked. Now if you watch where my mouse is, it now moves faster than my camera turn. So if I want to turn all the way around, it takes multiple clicks, and also I lose my position on what I'm looking at. That's a really annoying thing that's been added, so not liking that. So hopefully that will get changed back. There are some sensitivity options and things, but I don't think none of them actually change the mouse control. So yeah, it's something to look into. What else? I know there are loads of things I wanted to talk about. The map, oh yeah, the map's kind of got, it's meant to have kind of a Bioshock kind of feel to it. So you have this, imagine this as the lighthouse above Rapture, and then you kind of dive down into the city itself. So that's kind of a, like a little inspiration for it, I guess. Although I didn't really realise this until a little way into making it, but it actually makes a lot of sense as to why it's set up the way it is and why it's turned out the way it has. Oh, no, I also already mentioned the bushes. That's just a minor gripe. It's not really a big issue. It's going to be a long time before I can make another map. I might make some more small maps, but this is going to be the big one for the time being. I can't jump straight into another one like this because it's like I said, it was so time consuming doing this, even with the copy paste controls, which made this so much easier. These slum buildings, they're one building copy pasted, and then every single one has been edited in some way, and had different stuff put in them, but the it made it so much quicker. If I had to place every single one of these walls, resize them, rotate them, and put them in individually, I would not have made this. Simply put, I would not have made something this big. It just would not have been worth it. I value my sanity more than that. What else? I'm sure there's other things to say about this. I want to waffle. It's been so long, and like I've got this whole thing to show off, and I've got more stuff to run around before I disappear. What is there? So oh yeah. So this map has kind of brought together everything I've learnt making the other maps. So you can obviously see there are aspects from the maze in here, one of my other maps. From the the monolith. So in structures like this, where I've kind of combined lots of objects together to create these cool towers. Like the combination of items, that's something else I learned. Another thing is from the kind of verticality of the map. There's always things to jump down onto or to grapple up to. This map is brilliant for that. I'm quite happy about that because that's the main mechanic of the game. It would be dumb if I didn't kind of respond to that. Oops, I didn't mean to perform a slide there. Oh, it's got here or something. Oh, there is a minor glitch going. Oh, never mind. Forget it. I won't worry about that. They already know. So there's a lot to swing off. There's a lot to kind of jump around on. It should be fun to explore this as well as interesting, which is basically something I learnt from doing the Maker's Sundial map. If you've played that one, that's one of my favourites as well that I designed. Oh, why am I going up here? I don't want to show off what's in here. I've got to keep some secrets. What else? I think I'm coming to the end of it. The little kind of these big plant pots, these massive floating plant pots, were to put some more greenery in here, along with these bushes that have trailed all the way up. They're meant to be vines, but I imagine them as ginormous leaves of ivy or something, rather than the fact that there are a load of bushes attached to a wall. That's kind of the idea, the feeling I was going for with them anyway. But there are these giant plant pots to add some more greenery to the world, because I said because it's up here. Like, they've built down, so they weren't able to bring much earth down with them. It's not kind of part of the main island itself. It's all built below, so they've had to improvise by having lots of little plant pots everywhere to bring greenery down, and to make these floating kind of giant tree plant pot things as well. The upper part of the city has fancier things, so they've got these fancy pillars. Also, the stone work on all of the platforms is nicer, so it's got these nice flat stones, whereas below you have these kind of cobblestone, like broken up stone work. I've thought about all this stuff, I really have. The kind of undercity, like structure thing here was built really early on. I'm not sure how tall this thing is, but if you compare it to the size of the player, actually, because they added this feature in as well. This is how big this map is. It is really, really big. I think you can tell that by now. I think that's about it. I think I've waffled enough. Yeah, come and have fun with this one, because I'm not going to be able to build anything this big for a long time, and this will be, I'm pretty sure this is going to be one of the biggest things anyone's built with this, so have some fun with this. There's lots and lots of secrets to find in these buildings. Hopefully the bushes will be fixed soon, that'd be nice, and I look forward to hearing your feedback and so on. I hopefully, well, I won't be able to work on these so much in the future, just from my my lack of free time. But this has taught me so much in terms of level design, and I'm really hoping that I can. It'd be really nice if I could use this to kind of barter my way into getting a level design job in the games industry, because I work as a tester at the moment, and this has kind of really captured my imagination for being able to do a bit of level design in the background without having to go nuts creating, without having to work or out of work, you know, get home from work and then start working again, because this is actually quite a fun program to use, whereas something like the Unreal editor or something, I can't remember, but the placement in that in the other 3D modeling and so on programs it's got quite a lot of barrier to entry, whereas this doesn't, which is quite nice. So it's been good to be able to kind of flex my level design muscle without having to like stress out about learning coding and stuff, which is good. Other than that, no, I'm good. So thank you very much for watching this video. I know it's bound to have been a longer one. I haven't timed it, but it's probably like half an hour or something. So if you made it to the end, congratulations. Look around the map, tell me what you thought, and thank you for your time. This is Robert Stevenson signing off. Bye.